here, and I will take the today's session. All right, let's just starting now. And in today's training, we will cover page controller, variables, and we will try to cover the UDT. But we can take the UDT to the next training session as well. Now I will just share my screen. Please confirm that you guys are able to see my screen right now.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, starting with the variables, all right. So I will tell you what the each variables are used for. Hmm. Okay. So to go to variable sheet, you will press F8 where you will find all your variables. And in this, you go to local tab, and here you will find all the variables. Now go to variables VAR, and here are the variables which we're gonna use in our templates for the wiring purposes. Now my first variable is W boolean. So boolean is basically it's a variable which takes a value in one and zero. Right. There's no in between, it's only one and zero. So let's say that I have some, in my design, I have some object which I want an option on it that I want to enable or disable this in my operation, right? So to do that, what I will do, I will give it an option. So I will wire a boolean with the visibility over here. So to wire it, I will simply drag and drop over the eye. Okay, click on wire and it is wired. Now you can see the moment I wired this with a boolean, what happened is that my cube here was disabled now. I'm not able to see it. So now to enable it, what I will do, I will go to this, go to boolean, and I will enable this check on option. Okay, so you can see we have check on, check, check on, check on. So this is how you can add an option where if you don't want to show something in your a template, you can use this variable. Okay. And then they will go to other variable, which is my color
Uh,
variable.
Vinay, 1 minute.
Yes.
I have a doubt here. In this, when we use Boolean, so
Mm-hmm.
if you have a, object no, with the visibility animated on it, and if you use
Yes.
visibility, if you use the Boolean over there, then that animated visibility goes off. No, so how do you
Okay.
manage it?
So yes, so this is a very good question. Now, in that case, what I will do, first of all, let me just disable it. Now I'm gonna remove the visibility. Then let's go over here. I'm gonna animate the visibility of my cube. Auto, and this is the 0, and this will be the 30th frame, and we can keep it to 100. Now you can see my visibility is animated. Now if I will wire this with the eye, you will get this warning that okay, sorry, you're not getting the warning, but you can see your animation is gone now. Okay, so to avoid this, what we can do is we can wire this boolean with the last key of the animation. So I'll just do once again. Let me just create the animation. You can see now the animation is done. Now, sorry. Now, if I want to wire the visibility of this object, then what I can do is I can go to the last frame. Okay, right click on this key, go to wire. Okay, and then we will go to the add-ins local. Here I have the variable which I want to wire. So I will select this, wire this, and it is wired now. Apply changes, done. Now I can see we still have the animation, but if I don't want to use this cube, I will just disable it, and still I have the animation over here. Okay, if I enable
Okay,
it,
perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Mm.
yeah. Then we also have, if we right click on the variable, you can see we have something called on variable change. Okay, so by the name, I think you can understand that what it means. On variable change, it means that whenever there's a change in my variable, what action should it perform? So I can assign that action. Like let's say that I say whenever I check off this boolean, my cube should play. So go to on variable change, and from here I will use play default from 0, right? Add it. So now, if you can see this is also highlighted now. So if I make Q and play, remove this and enable it, you can see it playing it from the
So
0.
this is the alternate way for the one what you have said, right?
No, not an alternate way.
Ah,
So the thing is that I want to perform an action. Let's say somebody you have wired this visibility. Now,
mm,
whenever you are enabling it, it is coming from the last frame, right?
yeah,
Because the template is already played. But
ah,
somebody says that whenever you enable the visibility of this object, it should come in with an animation. So in that
okay,
scenario, you can use
okay,
this on variable change option. Okay.
okay. So
So
the same thing only we have done it, no, but you have wired it in the last visibility
yeah,
frame.
yeah, with the
That's
last
what I'm
visibility
saying.
frame.
Not same. This is the other way for how it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
Okay. Now, let's go to the second variable. This is my W color. So W color by the name, I think you guys can understand this is going to, we are going to use this for color, right? So I will enable this. Okay. Now, if I want to wire the color of this object, so I'll have to go to the material because this is 3D material, a 3D object. And in this, we do not have any full color option. So I'll go to this select material and I can wire any of this property of the materials with my W color. So if I wire this with the ambient, you can see now my cube is white. So if I want to change the color, I will use this variable. But the problem is that this is showing only half red. Why? Because we have three properties. So if you want to wire the standard material, in this scenario, you will have to take three W color, right? Or what we can do is we can wire this with same variable with the diffuse and the specular. So it will give you that flat. Okay, if you don't want the flat look, then you can use multiple variables. If you want the flat look, then you can go for one variable and wire with multiple properties of the material. Okay, this is clear, right? Now let's go to date and time. So if you want to wire this, how you will wire this? Because this is showing date and time both. Now in some of the cases, sometimes what happens is you have a single text in which you want to show the date and time. Okay. Or you can decide the countdown as well. So now if you want to show the date and time both, in that scenario, you can simply take the text and let's wire this with a text. Okay, but there's still problem. So this is the wrong way to wire this. Now let's remove this wiring. Go to RTF. If you remember this, we have done this last time as well. So you go to the text. Okay, press F11 to enter into RTF. And here I will remove this and go to the source and select my variable, which is date and time. Okay, we can decide the date over here, that what will be the format of my date, and then click OK. Done. Then we can decide what will be the format of my time, and I can add this. And you can see we're getting date and time. But in this, if I want to make any difference, I will add slash as well. So you can see. Okay. Any doubt? Okay, now let's go to the variable sheet. We have another variable which is called W5. So I think all the variables that I've seen over here are very easy to understand by the name, like what will be the core property. Right now, to show you the example of W file, what W file basically does is you can wire any file using this variable. Like you can also wire PSD file, you can wire image, you can wire video, XML, Excel, all those kind of files. You will be able to wire it with the help of W files. Now, if you want to wire the image, you will click on image over here. Now we have the image variable. Let's just rename it as an IMG image. If I go and take one rectangle and apply a material on it, let me just take image. This is my candidate image that I've applied. You can keep the size to 512 by 512. Now, somebody says that they want an option where they can change the image in real time. So what they will have to do is they will simply go to texture tool and wire this file name with the image. Now I will show you something. See, whenever you will drag and drop this, okay, now my path is empty. So I'll have to enter the path, or I can add image from here. Okay, so image is added. Now I'll remove this and I will also clear this. Right? Now, if you don't want to don't want this to happen, so to avoid this, what you can do, you can simply drag the file name and wire with the image. Okay, so we have the image over here. Now, if you want to wire, this is the wrong way. We cannot wire this way. What we can do is we can copy the path, then we go to here, paste this, and then we can wire it. Okay. Now to check if your variable is working or not, what I can do is I can go and select any other image, and you can see my variable is working properly. All right. Now let's go to other variable, float. Okay. So before we start with float, I want to understand that you guys have understood all the four variables that we covered, right? All right. So now I'm gonna select W float. Now, if you guys remember that integer is a whole number. Okay. So whenever you enter the values in integer, you do not use 1.5, 1.6, you use 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And when it comes to float, the float is basically you can take values in decimal. Okay. Now where we can use this variable. So we have rectangles, we have objects which for which we want to change the properties. Now let's say I want to change the value of this width. In width, you can clearly see that we have this decimal option over here. So we can add the values in decimal too. So this is why we are taking float. And now if I want to add this width, I can simply use a float one. Okay, click over here, wire. You can see that the value is 0. So now what I'll have to do, I'll have to enter the value over here, 5.2, 0.8 or something, that whatever I want, I can enter the value over here, right? Same goes for other value W float too. But the difference is now that this is the one variable which will have sub values, or like two sub values, three sub values, four sub values. So where you can use them? You can use them in let's say when one property have two values which you want to manipulate. So in that scenario, you will be able to use W float, like W float is here, and and the way I can use this is I have X and Y value. Okay, let's try this over here. You're not able to wire it because it is single property. Okay, currently I think we do not have any property which contains two values, but I have float three. I show you the example how it works. So we have float three. Now you can see we have three values in float three, x, y, z. If I want to use this, I can use it over in the translation, rotation, and scale. If I want to use this, I will simply drag and drop in the translation, and it is wired. Why I'm using W float 3 for translation is because in translation I have three properties, XYZ, and in float 3 I also have three properties, XYZ. So now if I want to do the translation, you can do it from here. See, if you want to go to Y, you can enter 80. If you want to go back in Z, then you can enter 200. See. Okay, so this is how it will work. Now, if you see the rectangle, okay, in rectangle we have chamfer property, which we can wire, and it has four values. So now what I can do is I will go to W float 4, and since I have four values, I will wire this with the chamfer. So you can see now chamfer is wired. I can manipulate the values from here. Okay, so I think this is also clear that how you're going to use floats for your uh, designs, right? Now let's pick integer and click on create text. And if I change this integer from text type free to number, and I want to wire this number, and I want an option where I can manipulate this number. So first of all, let me remove the decimal option from this. Go to format, change it to 0. Then we will wire this with the numeric text, and now we can manipulate this format. Okay, and for every property which is animated, we can wire the variables on the last keyframe. Now let's go to WC. So how you will use WC? WC is basically we use to stitch the scenes together. Okay, let's say I have a sorry for the noise, guys. Just give me a moment. Okay, so W series we use basically to from one scene. If you want to call another scene, then you can use W scene. Okay, I will show you one example and how you want to use it. I'll also show you that. So let me just put it over here. Um, in my design, I will create one simple animation. Okay, let's go to drag view, and here I will animate this. This is my one scene, which I want to play from another scene. So this is my scene. Now let's just save it as Okay. Okay. Now I will go to go to Sting client and Sting server. So this might look confusing to you guys, but do not get confused. It is very simple. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create one playlist, and from that playlist, I'm gonna use that instance to call this scene in my master scene. Let's say master scene. Okay. So this is my new playlist. So let's say I'm gonna name it as a trial two. So this is my trial playlist, and I'm gonna add my scene which I want to call in that. So let's name it as you see. Update. Done. Now we come here and go to new scene. Okay. So from here we go to variable sheet, and in this I will take one WC. All right. And if you want to name it, you can name it. Like let's say you want to use it for cube seal, so use a cube seal. And we will have to make this variable a global variable, right? Global variable will basically a kind of variable which is applicable in all the scenes. All you have to do is just check on that scene, and it will the variable will be in your scene which you can use. So I will press Alt, drag it to global scene. Okay, you can see I have some variables already over here available. Now I will just create this one too. So I have cube scene now. We go to local, and here I'll have to just take one playlist add-in. So I'll take the playlist add-in, and I will call my playlist which I have created. So what was the name of your playlist? Trial, right? So I'll take the trial. Okay, you can see the instances which we created, cube scene, instance ID, every data is available. So click OK over here. Now go to action set. I will just create one load scene action set. Okay, and here I'll just use load scene. Okay, and it is gonna use my variable, which is global variable cube scene. Okay, instance. We can take it from the data source, which is playlist. So I'll take the instance ID. Okay. Why we are not taking the instance name, slug name? Because slug names can be changed, but instance ID will be unique. Okay. Theme we can decide, template we do not need to keep it name. And zero we can decide the order like that. Okay. So this is done. Click on add. And now I want to play this action set which I have created. Play action set loads it. Okay. Now if you go over here into the global variable, whenever I play the scene, my instance ID is allowed coming over here. Now to play the scene, I press and it should play the scene. Sorry. This will be none actually. Let me just add it again. Hmm. Load scene variable will be global variable. Okay. For instance, we can take it from data source, instance ID. We don't need to give template name key. We can give the Z order. Okay. And add. That's it. Now I will create one more action set to lazy. Okay, do not get confused, guys. I'm just showing you the usage of WC. Okay, so go over here and lazy. Okay, and here we will take the playlist trial. Sorry, global variable this. Okay, you can decide like from which frame you want to play, but this is done. So let's just add now Q play and play C. Okay, now I know you guys must have doubts for this one. So you can first of all ask me the doubts, then we will move on to the next variables.
Vinay, this only plays the scene, or the object also comes inside the scene.
No, no, no. It only plays the scene. If you go, you can see there's no object.
So what is the purpose of doing it actually? This where will be using this.
See,
So for
sometimes,
example, if we already have some objects in the scene, and if we have a scene ready already, and
mhm,
if we play this, so why we are doing that? And I don't get it actually, this, because
yeah,
it's not merging. And what is the purpose, or where we'll be using this kind of
yeah.
thing?
So this is the example. Like whenever somebody tells you, they want control where like you have multiple scenes for NCR, right? NCR
Ah,
people
okay.
sometimes let's say they say they tell you that they do not want to operate from multiple playlists. Okay,
Ah,
they want to play the Tempest from single playlist.
okay.
Okay,
That we can make it in the Sting client itself, no, in the playlist. So
yeah.
what is the difference between playing here and playing it in the
So
from the client server?
this we also use in touch scenes. Okay, in touch scenes, what happens is there are steps to the scenes where you click on menu and you have some options available,
For
and that
to make
options you want to
interactive
show
scene.
graphics. Yes. So in
Uh,
interactive, what you so if you will create like 10 scene in one template, the scene will
and
get very heavy, right?
you make a
And
buttons, and then make a playlist kind of things one by one. If they want to play, then that should be played from here, right? You
yes,
make the scene here, and then that
we
should be
make
accessed.
multiple scenes. We make multiple scenes, and when we make
Make
one master
action.
scene,
Uh,
yeah, from there, if you interact with it, it will load the whatever
you,
template that I am making to
so
load.
you make the interactivity and this button creation, all this stuffs here, and then that will be played over there, right?
Yes, yes,
Something
yes.
like that. Oh,
Yeah. Okay. So
okay.
this is why we use WC to basically stitch one scene with another scene. All right. And we do it with the help of playlist add-in. Now let me just go over here again. Okay. Just give me a moment. I will. Hmm. Okay. We'll have to we did not unload this scene. This is why we need to restart the designer. Okay, so now let's move on to other variables. Let's go to the double string. So you can see we have three types of string, and with each you can see the length is defined. In one we have 256 characters. In other we have 64K, and in this we can define the length that we want. Right. So if I take the double string variable, and now if you want to wire this with a text, so we'll take the 3D text and we will wire it with the text property. Okay. And now whatever values you will enter in string, it will reflect on your text, right? Same goes for the string 2, which has the 64K length. Okay, but the difference is that they have the length defined in them, and in one you can define the length characters. So if I say let's like 8 characters only, okay, and I'm gonna use this with this one. Let me just enter the value. You can see I'm not able to enter more than that. Okay, so we can limit the variables as well. All right. So now we have covered all the variables which we need to use. Now we will move on to page controller. Okay. So for page controller, I'm going to create one basic template. So this will be my entry box. I can take this again, and this will be my image box. Okay, and we can use this as a header. Okay. So we will name this as a header image and red data entry. Now what I want to do is I want to give an option where I can add multiple entries on one template. So whenever there is a scenario like that, in that case, what I can do is I can uh, like use page controller in that scenario. Okay. So first of all, let's just create the animation for this one, in and out animation. So on 20, my data entry tab should be here. On 15 actually. On 15 it will be here, and on 165 it is out. Okay, so this is the animation, right? Then we can do the same for image. Just keep it over here. And header will be coming from rotation. This is done. So this is my in animation, okay, for header and image, and this will be my out animation. So the out animation, what I can do is I can simply just create, copy and paste the first frame. Now for the image as well. Now what we want is we want to mask them. Okay, so to mask them, what we can do is we can put them in a separate group, like image will be in separate group, and header, sorry, data entry will be in separate group. Now to mask it, what I can do is I can use this, or to get the same size, I will create this, name it as a mask for data, right? So now just go and drag it over here. Then go to opacity node. And from here, we can select mask data. Okay, we can enable that in. Just run and remove and so now the masking is done, but I think there's something. Yeah. Okay. This masking is done. Now we can do the same for image group. So I will just take this object for we go back to the image one for masking, mask two. Okay. Actually, last time the problem was that it was a copy of the same object and it was for following the animation. This is why we were able to see the objects even after masking them. Okay, but now you can see my animation is done. So on the 15th, my whole animation is getting done. So I will add pause infinite over here. Then we can take a simple text. Okay. Then we can enable the bounded text property. And I will wire this, put this in my group too. Then now what I can do is I can also go to image and add material on it. So this will be my image. Just add this. Then we select any object, we will wire it. And I don't want the color to be PNG. So this is why I'm giving a back color. Now this is done and animation is also done for them. We need one simple text for header as well, for which we need to match the animation. So this is here. Now what we need to do is, first of all, let's just go and create some new string variables. Can anyone tell me why we need to use string variables? Hello, guys, please respond because uh, the interaction is good for the session as well. Can anyone tell me why are we going to use string in this case and not any other variable? Okay, let me just save it as a PG. Okay. Mhm. Let's delete this. And we will take one more variable, which is string. So I can take this and I will name it as a header. Okay. And header goes here. Done. Then I will take variable for my data entry text. So now for the main paragraph text, what I can do is I can go to text, okay, and I can click an option as a save to variable. So last time you can see you had an option called save as user text, but now we have option as save to variable. So you can click this. You can say para text or news. Okay, the length will be 250. You can keep it to 250 and click on OK. Now, whenever you get something like this, okay, in your text, which means the RTF property is enabled, okay, and if you don't want the RTF, I will remove this from here. Just uncheck this, and it is normal. Okay, so news goes here, here. My variable is done. Now all I need to do is simply wire this with my text. Okay, so wiring is done. And for the header, I will just take this text and wire it. Done. Now I need to animate the header as well. So remove this simple visibility animation and this is done. Now what we need to add page controller because this is the only thing that is missing in our design. Hmm. So now we will take the page controller, and whenever you will take the page controller, it will ask you what will be the page play and page out. So we need to enter the in and out of the text that we want to keep. Now we want to change the image and we want to change the news. So for that, our animation is starting from 0 to 15 and then it is going to 30. So we will add the in and out frame is 0 and out frame will be 30. Okay, so this is done. Now what we need to do is we need to add this group into page controller and image group into page controller, right? Because we want these two things to be changeable. So you can see this is where the page gets in. Okay, page in, and this is my page out. All right. And if you go to the page group, you can see we have something called start time. So let's say in your design, if you are making a changes after taking a page controller and you change the key from 1 to 40, it will still start from 1. Why? Because the start time from here will be 1. So we need to change the start time in this property when it is needed in this kind of scenario. All right. Now we will go to variable and let's take file and image. Just select this, just simply copy the file path, paste over here, and then you can wire. So this is done. Now my page controller is done. So if you go to the form, how we can create the form for page controller. So go to form, in data entry, we will go and take page controller. Okay, this is my page control, and this will be my header because I do not want to change it. So I can keep it as simple. Sorry, I do not want my header to be changeable. So I will keep this outside the page control form. Okay. And if you want to limit this, how we can limit this? You can go here. You can enter the maximum length, which will be like, let's say 50. And if you want to show the character length, you can also enable the show character count. Then go to file and we can keep the variable, or if you have named them, then you will be able to see them as the file variable that give you name. Now you can go here, click on proof, then click on news section. We want these things to be changeable, so I will keep it to keep it in the page control group. Now to limit this, I will enter 250 because this was the main entry. 60. So I can keep it as 60. Okay, done. This is my form. Go to player, take the data page player, and here we will select my page source, which is my page controller, and controller name is also page controller one. Then we can also decide like what will be the total chapter. If you want to use this in a vertical way, you can enable it in a vertical way. Also, if you want the loop to be enabled by default, then click on this, go to the properties, and from here you will enable loop to loop. So now my loop is also enabled. Okay, done. Go to design. All right. You can do this before creating the form. This was one last step that I was missing. So you all you need to do is to get the changeable image and news. All you have to do is add pause over here. Okay, and we can change this infinite pause to time pause. Okay, let's keep it to 3 seconds for now. Update and my PG is saved. So I will save it. Done. Now I'll show you how the functionality actually works for the page controller. Right. So I created playlist called trial. So I will use this only. Go to texture tool and use PG. Double click over here and go to F2, which is the main data entry form. So we will enter header. It goes here. My first image will be I will go to characters and this is my first character and I can enter the news here one plus okay so news okay and select this image news 3 update. So you can see we have made 10 entries. If you want to make more entries, you can click on add pages option. If you don't want any page, you can delete this. Okay, if you want to go to next page, previous page, and last page, and first page. So all these options are available to you. You can use them. Now let's queue and play. So you can see my first entry, second entry, then we get third entry, and it will auto loop because I have enabled the loop. Okay, and if I uncheck this, so it will skip that last entry and play only 2 entries. Okay, if I uncheck this and enable this, so it will skip the 2 and play the 3. Okay, anyone have any doubt? Okay, so now let's go to the form option. And in this form, we faced one problem. Let's not say, I'm not call it a problem, but there was a inconvenience that when we did not add image, that this whole area became blank. So now to highlight this area, what I can do is I can select this image option, go to border style. I can like enable fixed 3D. So you can see we have this different kind of edge over here. Now, if I want to add image in this, so I will add the image. So my image is added. Then we can also change this and this. If you want to change the color of this, you can change it from here. Okay. You can create this kind of uh, template for our use. Okay. Now, anyone have any doubt? Suchitra, MS1, anybody? All right, guys. I think we should keep it in here only because this topic, I want you guys to practice it and I want you guys to create some template based on these logics. Now, you can create full frames, you can create lower bands. So I would expect, I'm expecting some lower bands and full frames in the next session. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. You can visit the website for more information. You can also see the tutorial from there. And if you have any queries, you can also reach out to us. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.